Good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson. Of course, I'm with the techie with most. This techie Joe. How's my cubby? You feeling better?
Doing a little bit better. How about you?
I'm living. I will
Yes.
put it that way. Because last week I was dead.
Oh yeah. Well, they expect you to be dead.
Well, I get that, but I was even more dead.
Oh, okay.
Like,
More
like not undead, dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, too fun.
So, for those that don't know, we've been gone a week.
We have.
We have.
Our last show, literally the last show, was last Friday.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, Monday's show didn't happen.
Right.
Tuesday's show didn't happen.
Right.
And we're all the way back here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Flu A is fun.
It is. And, I always have to do extra. So I also had a lovely sinus infection to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Just had to do all the things.
Right.
Hey, Gwen.
Hello, Gwen. How are you? Hope you're doing well.
You can spray us with Lysol before you give us the big hugs.
Yes, please. Actually, can we spray you with Lysol? Because we've had it. So that means our immune system's already weak.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
There is that. There is that. But no, we're coming back up.
We are. I returned to work. Was it Wednesday night?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're back at that. So yes, if you've been looking for me, yeah, because we had the board meeting on Wednesday, which I would have rolled myself out of the hospital in front of the laptop for.
Yes. Yeah, you are missing that.
No, I'm not missing that.
No. But so yeah, we did that. We've had the Lady Gaga concert.
Yes, we've had the Lady Gaga concert at Fire Island. That was interesting. I was watching the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone is watching performances, my staff is watching people, and I'm watching the Sims numbers.
Yes, we were having to do that. Because here's the thing, and he was watching it because he was getting alarming messages from the system. Whereas I don't get those messages. But still understand the context. For a Second Life sim, 100 people on a sim, it starts to move into danger territory.
Right.
Especially when it is an otherwise used sim. Right. Meaning that like this isn't just a venue sim.
Right.
Which hosts one event and one event only, has a stage for that specific event. Right. That literally that's all it does is just be the thing. Because what happens is that simulator has to manage the physics and attributes of every single avatar, every single building, every single tree, it has all of that running for it.
Right.
That it is sitting there doing a lot of math.
Yeah. Which I'm wondering if next time we don't need the skybox that.
There's, that may be a very good idea.
Right.
But yeah. So, but anyway, on a single simulator, single sim, typically once you hit 100 people, you are maxed out.
Yes.
Doesn't sound like a lot, and it really isn't a lot. And I think it does start to become part of the Okay, so how do you host massive events?
Right.
And because that's a very real concern.
Well, I think that's one where we have to go and sit down with a millionaire that we found out is a millionaire.
Yes.
In Second Life,
Mm-hmm.
and have this conversation of, so honey, how do we do this? Like, can you just give me a global world box and we can host 1,000 people there?
It depends upon how big an event is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
There are, there we
Mm-hmm.
go. I unfroze. There are a few different ways I've seen events handled
Mm-hmm.
to allow for higher traffic,
Right.
which is sometimes straddling a sim line.
Right.
You have sim A, sim B,
Mm-hmm.
and you effectively set your stage across the two,
Mm-hmm.
and then you split your people across the
Right.
sim line.
Right.
So 100 of you, 100 of you over here, 100 of you over here.
Right.
Now, even for like the 20th anniversary celebration that Second Life had, very similarly, and it was kind of a weird kaleidoscope effect, but it works. It works. It works.
Mm-hmm.
They intersected four sims
Right.
and basically mirrored them. So
Right.
you had all the same things going on.
Right.
You just had to land and please stay
Mm-hmm.
in one sim.
Right.
It's all identical, because actually the audio and even the video isn't that hard to handle.
Mm-hmm.
It's the literal presence.
Right.
Like, it's very easy to do the exact same audio across four sims.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a problem. Video across four sims, not a problem. The real problem comes in when you get to more than 400 people are going to hit your event. What do
Mm-hmm.
you do?
Yeah, and I think that may be something we have tea over,
Mm-hmm.
especially if we bring in like Queen and other performers after I have a conversation. And
Yes. Which this event was great. It was a very eye-opening experience because typical event attendance for us is numbers in the 20s.
yeah,
And
40.
that's a great night. That's, you hit the 40s. That's amazing. You had an amazing night.
Mm-hmm.
When you start approaching your sim max,
Yeah, and you're getting warning messages. Your prim is overloaded. Your sim is lagging. Sim lag. Sim lag. Server limiting approaching.
yeah, approaching server limit.
I was
That's the
expecting
scary
a
one.
Linden to drop into the sim and go, "No, you're not being
What have you
thwarted."
done?
No, like I expected him to come in and go, "Okay, you're not being thwarted," because you go from a sim that has maybe at most our highest attendee level is like 43 people in a day. Do
Mm-hmm.
you have 100+ people TPing in? Like, are you
Yeah.
being thwarted?
Well, are you being attacked?
Right.
Because they can be a form of, oh, it was a great night.
Oh, it was a great
Hey
night.
Brenda. Yeah, no, it was a great night. Everything went off beautifully. It was a tribute concert. Let me explain that.
Right.
Like we did not have actual Lady Gaga.
Right.
Let me clarify. All Lady Gaga music
Right.
from a live concert,
Mm-hmm.
not actual Lady Gaga operating an avatar.
Right.
Avatar
That
being
would, however, be fucking amazing, though, wouldn't it?
there have been events in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they have currently spanned two different. Like this was a
Mm-hmm.
recast.
Right.
This is the pre-recorded, like it's the full concert experience.
Right.
And the full, like, there's a whole light show. There's the whole, like, you get the experience.
Mm-hmm.
No one pukes on you, no one passes out on you, no one grabs your ass.
Right.
In the real world, experience. The funny part, Brenda, is the amount of, like, lead we would have to give you for that. Because the thing with Second Life is this is not like, oh, sign up for an account and then you can immediately join us.
Yeah.
You sign up for an account, you land on Newbie Island, you have to go through the process of learning how to operate and maneuver your avatar and work within the Second Life space. You don't want to rush that as a side note. That's not something you want to, okay, I'll figure it out later, right through. No. Even creating an alt,
Right.
I took the time to go through with the alt.
Right.
And do Newbie Island again because it had been like 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you forget stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff changed.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was a whole different experience going in to create the alt account. And yeah, it you don't want to rush through it.
Right.
I mean, maybe if you're creating 5 or 6 alts a week, okay, skip through it. Just hit skip. Just jump through the process, run to the end, portal off of Newbie Island, which you can never return to.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, for most new players, yeah, that it takes a few hours, and you need them because it works different than a lot of games. Like, it's and understanding the concepts that you didn't just create a random avatar. This isn't like setting up your Facebook avatar. This isn't like logging in for the first time to like a PlayStation game.
Right.
No.
But it's caused me to think of, because we have some live singers in there and we have some live people in there. What I mean by that is people that actually perform. If some famous stars do not secretly go into SL to do it all.
Here's the thing. There have been events. There have been total. Like you have like I'm not saying this is who did it, but for instance, you want Elton John in Second Life. There have been events where you would have literal Elton John is mic'd up next to a computer with someone who knows what they're actually doing in Second Life, running a whole performance.
Right.
As in, you have Elton John doing his thing that he knows how to do, which is be the paid performer, and then someone else operates the account.
Right.
That has occurred. There have been a few of those kind of events, even with a whole band. So it's not just Elton John. It would be like the Backstreet Boys. Again, I'm not saying these are specific people who have done this. I'm using placeholders. That has occurred. The alternative version of this is a simul event.
Right.
In which there's a real world concert. And someone is connecting to Second Life, doing a Second Life version of the real world concert real time.
Right.
Those both types of events have occurred. The problem, I think, truly becomes if you have more than 400 attendees,
Right.
you're screwed.
Right.
There's no way. Like, this is where the disconnect of, I think it's Ready Player One, and actual Second Life
Right.
is probably the most notable.
Right.
Is that you cannot exceed 400 people in the same space
Right.
at the same time. So there's no current ability to have like a single massive server event,
Right.
all like, and everyone shows up.
Right. That's not what I'm saying, though, is I wonder if there's some in there in Cloak and Mirrors. What I mean is real singers or real comedians that are, like, in their day life are doing the same thing I do. But instead of, I'm me in any dimension.
Right. You
I'm
created
wondering.
second Aeson.
Right. There is a second Aeson, but instead created, like Reba McEntire created Blue Star and is Blue Star in Second Life. And, she'll do a gig here and there out of fun and curiosity. And maybe she sings rock and roll in SL. She's known for rock and roll, but she doesn't ever sing fancy.
Right. Very likely. I would say there's at least one or two at a minimum.
Right.
Because that kind of goes back to like World of Warcraft. And the number of like celebrities that actually have a World of Warcraft account.
Right.
And that you could literally be playing next to a celebrity.
Right.
They're there for the game.
Right.
They're there. That's it. This isn't about, they are, again, going back to like Elton John in Second Life.
Right.
They're just some guy with an account in Second Life that may have some overlap to their real world, but because that's inevitable, you are your avatar is you. But it is not actually intended to be, I met Elton John in Second Life. Again, I'm not saying Elton John has an account. That's that placeholder people. Don't go trying to, find your tiny dancer. In Second Life, you may not. But it's very possible you could.
Yeah.
Like, second Elton could be a really cool dude who, like, I don't know, hangs out by the pool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's it. That's just all he does all day. Like, he has a sim of his own and maybe drops in on some parties and is like the most nondescript person in the corner. You know what I mean? Just like, hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah.
But you're not going to find out this is actually Elton John. You know what I mean? Like, not going to occur. Like,
no. It's like, my Sims and my team there, they do amazing, but we're all over the world, from the UK to Texas to California, all, like Second Lifing in and interacting and dealing with second real world problems, like a sim about ready to crash. If they send out one more notice or invite one more damn friend to this party.
No, stop teleporting. Stop teleporting. Stop teleporting. Yeah, it's a real problem. And it can be a real problem for events, which is why griefing can be such an issue. Is that it is a fragile environment at the end of the day. Is there's only so much this server can handle.
Right.
And that's been the current limitation. And that kind of speaks to like this whole like Mark Zuckerberg metaverse
Right.
situation, is that part of the power of Facebook itself is that all of it exists to everyone all at the same time. So if we go live, and it works, but if we go live, if Elton John goes live on Facebook, millions of people can watch.
Right.
You can all have the exact same experience. It takes a lot to support that.
Right.
But it's doable. The problem comes in when you try to translate that into literal presence.
Right.
And you're working in three-dimensional space.
Right.
And you're trying to not only represent like Elton John, but you are trying to represent Aeson and Joseph Bullock and all these other avatars in that three-dimensional space.
Right.
That becomes a computing nightmare.
Oh yeah, it does. It gets fun though.
That is, well, because it and the nightmare occurs in multiple dimensions.
Yes.
That's the part I'll kill you. So the first dimension that occurs as a problem is in the server environment. Figure out how you represent 1,000 people. Who have hair and eyes and bodies and shoes and clothing, because your system has to keep up with all of this.
Yeah, and keep generating all of it.
All of it. So like this idea that we are living in the Matrix, the technology level for that.
Right.
Would be astronomical. But this is effectively what you're asking for.
Right.
And what, Mark Zuckerberg was shooting for was the ability for all of us to coexist and potentially, thousands of us be in a performance.
Right.
Hundreds of us be in a workplace.
Right.
Thousands go to the beach.
Right.
Whatever these virtual experiences, whatever his whole metaverse theory was.
Right.
We were all going to be able to do this simultaneously.
Right.
And it's like, that's the point someone, I'm sure, had to pull him aside and go, do you understand the computing resources for that? Just on that first dimensional problem.
Right.
Of making it happen.
Right.
Then there's the next layer of abstraction. The computing power required to take everything that's happening on that server, is within the frame of vision, of the avatar, and process all of it, and display all of it. Like that server has enough to keep up with all the assets.
Right.
And when I say assets, again, I mean the shoes, the texture on the shoes, the all of the things that go into that. These are all assets. So you got to, on this first dimensional problem, handle all the assets and what physics are occurring to them.
Right.
Then you have take all of that data, and for every single one of these people connecting to this server, getting real-time data about all these interactions, you have to draw that.
Right.
You have to tell a graphics card, draw it.
Right, and that gets into complexities. And all right, ladies, I'm gonna flat tell some of y'all wear too many damn layers, and their complexity is hitting like, oh no, honey! Like last night, there was a girl in there hitting 400. Yeah, and I'm like, girl, I don't know how much makeup you have.
Yeah, and note that 400 is like just an easy to read number.
Mm-hmm.
It's 400,000.
Mm-hmm. She had way too much.
Triangles.
Yeah.
Like you're the complexity of her object, that is her fully dressed,
Mm-hmm.
required 400,000 triangles
Mm-hmm.
to draw.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, so if pending you know nothing about graphics cards, if you go to draw like a circle, you have to do that in an expression of triangles. These
Mm-hmm.
are faces. So you have to cut so many faces to represent a sphere. Okay. So let's say you can represent a sphere in, say, 100. You can draw a circle, a sphere in 100 triangles.
Right.
Her avatar required 400,000
Right.
triangles just to draw her. Nothing else. No trees, nothing else. 400,000 to draw her. One avatar. Do you know the throughput you would need if you took her and made 1,000 of her? Oh, and then we have a venue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, this is the limitation that we run into, is individual home consumer products. The graphics card inside your home computer is limited. And if it takes 400,000 just to draw her, and you have to draw her 1,000 times, and that's just for a low attendance event.
Right.
Massive scale, low attendance event.
Right.
Basically, Elton John has a concert in a park.
Mm-hmm.
And 1,000 people show up.
Right.
Huh. You're crashing people's computers. There's no way around it.
Yeah. Well, we were crashing people's computers last night.
Mm-hmm.
Not
with
best DJ.
100 people.
Right.
Crashing people's computers. Well, less than 100, but you go over. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, the technology required for this, and this is what Mark Zuckerberg got told in his very ambitious plan.
Yeah.
To put us all in the metaverse by, what was that? 2022, I think it was? 2023?
3. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we were all going to be living, working, playing, doing the things in the metaverse by like 2023. This is why that was like, we were all sitting there like, oh, and it's going to be fully immersive. We're just going to be putting on headsets to do that.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool. Like, who's dropping off the data farm?
Apparently Amazon in Ohio, but anyhow, the metaverse in 2040. Hype, hope, hell, maybe all three. Experts are split about the likely evaluation of truly interacting the metaverse. They expect about the alignment and a mixture of reality enhancements that will become more useful in people's daily lives. Many worry that current online problems may manifest if Web3 development leads to those who built today's dominant web platforms. Great study out there by Pew Research study. Go read it. But 2040 is what they're now predicting.
Yeah, by 2040. Because effectively at this point, so crypto mining, we're not getting into crypto. We're not going to talk about that. Crypto mining, though, uses graphics cards. You currently, to turn any kind of functional profit mining Bitcoin using graphics cards, need the equivalent of like thousands of graphics cards. This is why we had a shortage a few years back of graphics cards. You couldn't buy them.
Right.
No one could buy a graphics card. They were sold. A store said they had graphics cards. They were sold out.
Right.
Because of cryptocurrency.
Right.
Bitcoin mining.
Right.
Okay. You would need that kind of processing ability for every single home user. Currently, based on current technology, you would need that level, the thousands of graphics cards connected to one massive computer to do metaverse for a 1,000 person event.
Right.
This is what they are hoping to achieve by 2040.
Right.
That is a lot of reduction that's going to happen in 26 years.
Yep.
And currently, I don't think we're looking at anything that's going to get us there. Now, theoretically, quantum computing could be the answer.
Right.
Basically, all quantum computing does is take the two binary states and add a third.
All right.
Which, great, awesome, cool, beautiful. Currently, that requires sub-zero temperatures. And it is still in its infancy.
Well, they could just come to West Virginia most of the damn year.
Oh, no. Like, this would be the kind of area they would have to start with in order to then massively cool.
Right.
Like, they literally plunge these computers into liquid nitrogen.
Right, which can be contained in the mines that we already have drilled. You do a lovely insert like they do a chimney. You then install the data centers. You then insert the liquid nitrogen. Where's the problem? Exactly.
Already happening. But this is still a technology that I said infancy. That's probably horribly misstating its reality. It is gestational.
Right.
At this point. It is made it past proof of concept.
Right.
As in we have conception.
Right.
We do not have anything close to a functional platform.
Right.
I.e., a baby. A baby has not been born yet.
Right.
If you want to follow the pregnancy analogy for deliverables, this is gestational. We're just trying to figure out how to get it to living and breathing.
Right.
Like, that's the period we're in with quantum computing. And I would say right now it's a collection of cells.
Right.
All right. We're not talking about it like we're weeks.
Right.
A couple months into this pregnancy, you don't even have a bump yet. Okay. Is where this is as a deliverable. We're way down the road.
Right.
Before we're talking, and I don't think it's going to be 2040 that quantum computing is going to show up and be, oh, this is how we do that.
Right.
Like, here's your home quantum computer. It's like this big.
Mm-hmm.
You know, has a little nitrogen container attached.
Right.
You have to replace that cartridge. No big deal. You know,
Right.
home replacement nitrogen canisters. And like, no. Yeah, we're nowhere close.
Right. All right. So we do have a couple news stories that we'll comment on. Let's take the first one here.
Oh, we do have news stories. Okay, cool. Let me get over there. And so, violent, heinous Michigan man admits to planning mass shooting targeting gay people. All right, an Owasso man faces up to life in prison after pleading guilty to plotting mass shootings to kill gay people. And unfortunately, we have an ad. There we go. Mac Davis's plans were uncovered during a search of his home after he shot at his neighbor's properties over the summer. According to court documents, Davis wanted to commit the shootings at a political party headquarters and a bar that he associated with LGBTQ plus people. So, yeah, a Michigan man pleaded guilty this week after plotting to shoot and kill gay people, authorities said. Mac Davis, 22, of Owasso, admitted that he was planning shootings at a political party headquarters and bar because he associated those locations with LGBTQ plus people. According to court documents, Davis spent nearly a year researching mass killings, posting about those murders, and paying tribute to the people who committed them. He also wrote about these killings in journals and on objects inside his home as he started planning his own mass killing. His plans included making a list of the tactical gear and weapons he had, along with what he would need to commit the murders. This planning started around July 2023, and by this June, authorities say Davis had crossed off everything on his list. Federal authorities said Davis possessed 2 firearms, magazines, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, a crossbow and arrows, assorted bomb-making parts, smoke grenades, tactical gear and clothing, and several knives, including one with F expletive killer inscribed on it. These items were found during a search of his home. Davis also surveilled the 2 locations after posting on social media that location 1, the political party office, was filled with far left liberal F slur scum. He also wrote that the shooting would continue to location 2, which he referred to as a F slur bar. He also allegedly posted the results of his surveillance. This defendant amassed an arsenal of firearms, rounds of ammunition, and bomb-making parts that he intended to use to carry out the mass killing of gay people. This kind of violent, heinous, hate-fueled violence intended to target innocent people based on their sexual orientation runs contrary to our values as Americans, said Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. While planning the shootings, authorities say Davis also targeted his gay neighbors by spray painting a slur on their vehicles. A few days later, Davis shot around 60 bullets into the properties of several of his neighbors while allegedly test firing a short-barreled rifle. Around 60 bullets were fired and hit several vehicles, including those belonging to the neighbors targeted with slurs. Once police confirmed the gunfire came from Davis's home, they searched his house and found his writings about mass shooters and his plans to commit a mass shooting. According to court documents, Davis admitted to vandalizing his neighbor's vehicles and possessing a short-barrel rifle that he modified, but he denied planning a mass shooting. He was arrested by Owasso police before being transferred to federal custody. Davis faces up to life in prison. What the hell?
Life in prison? That's it?
Well, the end result of this irrelevant at this point to me, because I'm trying to figure out, like, there feels like there's so much backstory to get here.
Right.
And it's like all of that's missing. We're not talking about any of that. We're just like, oh yeah, he was found, and he's been put in federal custody, and he will probably die there.
Right.
Got that part. Yay.
Thank goodness.
What the hell is this about? Like, where did this start? What is the problem here? Because I don't think you just wake up one morning and go, like, gay people suck.
Mm-hmm.
I shall commit a mass murder.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Like, you don't just wake up one morning, have that thought, and go, yeah, that sounds like a plan at 20 years old, 21
Mm-hmm.
years old. I feel like more goes into this.
Well, you would think more goes into this, like, psycho tendencies, small, unabridged availability of guns. There comes a point in a time when it's like, excuse me?
Like, is this a mental health issue? Is this like what went wrong in this guy's life that he made these connections?
Right.
And decided this is how, is this a lot of like internalized self-hatred? Like, I think I could find better things to do with a year of my life and money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just trying to imagine, like, how mad.
Right.
Like, the rage. Like, how mad do you have to get?
Right.
To go from, I'm assuming, normal 21-year-old that kind of likes some guns, to I'm going to create a plan.
Right.
With a shopping list.
Mm-hmm.
Spend a year checking off my shopping list, take some pot shots at my neighbors, and then plan to commit a mass murder.
Right, and then possibly.
Like that. Like, there's a lot of opportunity in a year to be like,
right.
Maybe I was just mad then.
Right.
Maybe I just was not loving the rainbow flag on my neighbor's house.
Right.
Like, maybe this is me. And I have a problem.
But what even gets me is the level of freaking documentation. I mean, did they fail Criminal 101 or what?
Well, I mean, you kind of have to go back and forth on that one. Planning. You know what I mean? This was not going to be a random act of stupid.
Right.
Like, this is a well thought out, articulate plan.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good plan, just as in. But it's a plan. Right. It's a very articulate plan. There was a lot that went into the plan. There's a lot of effort being made towards the plan.
Like, I'm sorry, I just simply failed government 101. I mean, criminal 101.
All right, so what's your criminal 101 fail problem?
Writing anything down.
Well,
throughout your house.
Okay, so you're you're talking about your ability to get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Commit the massive, horrible act and get away with it. I don't think that was ever an intent.
Right.
Especially not if you're celebrating people that have been picked up for their mass criminal actions.
Right.
Like, you assume you're getting arrested. Like, you're gonna go to prison.
Right.
Like, that's the clear and obvious, and typically at that point you would be either unaliving yourself to avoid it, or not. You're gonna finish your shooting spree.
Right.
Your mass murder event, and you're going to be like, okay, arrest me. Like, I'm not going to run. I'm not going to waste your time and mine.
Right.
Clearly. I want to be associated with this. These are my heroes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm emulating them because I think what they did was great. So clearly, like you either unalive to avoid the prison, or so you go out in the hail of bullets, or
Right. And
hi,
and
it
I'm
was
talking
me.
not just about him, but I'm talking about these other ones. Like, I'm sorry, I've been bored and sick, so I've watched a lot of crime TV. The
Okay.
amount of criminals that are carrying video cameras with them nowadays, the amount of criminals that leave manifestos and social media posts, and all, like, one, who are their friends that are looking at this and going, "Oh yeah, right, dude," and two, what the hell?
No. Like you're misunderstanding criminality, like modern criminality, through the context of getting away with it. It's not about getting away with it. This is criminality for celebrity. This is not about wanting to walk away from the event and never be heard from again. And some mysterious stranger committed these acts. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know who. This is in line with like school shootings.
Right.
Like you go back through your school shootings, the plan isn't I'm going to commit the atrocity and then walk away as an unknown subject
Right.
that people keep looking for and talking about for years, and just I'm the only person who knows that I did this. This is about wanting the recognition. You want people to know you did this. Typically that comes with a and why.
Mm-hmm. Which we don't got yet because this case is too early.
He's already being sentenced, or nearing it, isn't he?
I think he's being sentenced,
Charged.
but we're still about at most 90 to 180 days, and when evidence becomes publicly available.
Well, okay. But regardless, like no, you're trying to process this through the lens of like you hate someone and you want to kill one person or two,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the number is,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to solve a problem and
Mm-hmm.
get away with it. And there's clear, easy to understand lines of
Right.
sort of like the Murdoch case,
Right.
real quick, where okay, his world is about to come unraveled, but he can kill two people
Right.
and then everything goes back to normal.
Right.
Kill two people, everything go back to normal. Do that. At
Right.
least the thought process he's having, just don't get caught.
Right.
So it's basically you have a history of criminality, all of it's falling or about to fall because it's a house of cards built on two people who are about to potentially testify against you, and all of this is going to blow up. Take those two people out, you now have a solid foundation.
Right.
Like your house of cards doesn't fall.
Right.
This is not about that. This doesn't look like a long-term history of poor behavior
Right.
that has up to now gone undetected. And here's your house of cards, and it's sitting on a sheet of paper, and someone's about to yank the paper. That's your traditional criminal motive. Is
Mm-hmm.
that someone stands in the way of you getting away with what you've already been doing.
Mm-hmm.
You kill them, you with the intention of getting away with it.
Right.
This is I want to get caught because I want to emulate and be like these people. I am looking for the celebrity of my name
Right.
to be attached with this act. So you fully want to get arrested, or at
Right.
least recognized as the killer.
Mm-hmm. again, I think that it's horrifying. I think it's horrifying that, well, one, thank goodness they caught him. Great that he didn't want to fight this out. And that is a positive thing. But everything else is kind of like, why? Like, one, do better. Two, when are we going to stop allowing people to own more guns than our military?
The gun control debate in the U.S. is insane, and it's a non-starter.
Right.
Like, there's no point. There were a non sequitur, I guess, but the idea that we could solve gun crime probably in an afternoon in Congress, but we're never going to get there because we're entrenching this belief, one set of beliefs against another set of beliefs, and it's there's no point. You can argue till you're blue in the face. You're arguing two different issues.
Right.
You're not going to find common ground between them. So that's kind of a non sequitur there. But the realities of, like, all of this is not about planning to get away with it as much as it is planning to do it as big as possible.
Right.
You're literally planning an event.
Right.
You're not planning to get away with it. You're planning the event, the spectacular of your crime. Like it's a wedding, like it's a concert, like it's a whatever. This is why everything goes into such detail. You have a shopping list, you have surveillance. Like, you're wanting maximum death count, massive body count. You are looking for record book kaboom. This is your Guy Fawkes Day.
Right, and I get that, but at the same time, no one's going to name a holiday after this idiot. Secondly, Guy Fawkes done well until the bomb didn't go off. Let's be direct and honest about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, the Switzerland criminals are much more intelligent, I guess, than the United States one. An article I was reading about a bank heist in Switzerland, well, a cash depot in Switzerland. They stole a helicopter. They unloaded this cash depot like it was Walmart on shopping day. The cops are all standing back. No one's approaching. No one goes to approach. They're waiting for SWAT to arrive. They load the helicopter. They leave in the helicopter. The police radio SWAT that they're going to need the helicopter because they've already taken off. The SWAT team is waiting for the bomb team to arrive to remove the package that says bomb on it that's placed on the pilot's seats of the pilot's thing. And I'm like, this wouldn't happen in the U.S.
Okay. I'm struggling to make the interconnection, but okay. But what go through your theory here?
One, no one would plan out so much detail that they'd be sticking a box that says bomb on it on the police helicopter, if they could even get to the police helicopter. Two, the number of county mounties that have no problem reaching into the back of their patrol car for an AK-57 to shoot that helicopter out of the air, not a problem. I promise you, any one of these small town county mounties would do that. Secondly, I'm quite sure nobody had a shopping list. Nobody made a social media post. Nobody made impact on it.
But again, that's a financial crime or the commission of a crime for gain. Like, you want the money.
Right.
unless you're trying to just do the most spectacular bank job ever for the notoriety of being the most spectacular bank robber of all history, you want the money. You want to get away to spend the money. I'm sure there were lots of written out plans somewhere. There was a whole plan. They were probably properly handled and disposed of. But there was a plan. You don't just like think it up and leave it to chance that, oh, I'm going to remember all this. Yeah. There's a chalkboard, maybe two, to keep track of everything that has to occur because you've got to build a timeline.
Right.
You have to commit certain prerequisites and hit those marks. And then you have to start the actual criminal act, the big act after. And then all these pieces have to fall like dominoes. Oh, there's a plan.
Well, there's a plan, but there's not the sub-criminal activity going on. Like, you're not going and shooting up the neighbor's house.
No. But, and again, that's why in this one, you have to start questioning, okay, what is going on here?
Right.
Like I need more of a story.
Right.
In order to get from what you just said to how does a 21-year-old just do this for a year?
Yeah.
And literally get to the point, I have marked everything off my list. Now I'm just testing that things work stupidly.
Right.
Which, not to give help, but, as general theory on criminality, try not getting caught before you commit the criminal act.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter how good your plan for the criminal act is. You still have to, like, make it there.
Right.
So, like, getting pulled over because you're speeding, with all the guns in the car and the,
right.
Here's my notebook that says what I was about to go do. That doesn't work. Getting so, like, don't speed, don't drive erratically, don't drive under the influence. You still have to do all these things. But that is part of how some crimes, even though they are well planned, well thought out, whatever, fall apart.
Right.
Is because the people that come up with them cannot keep their personal shit together long enough to commit them.
Right.
Which, yay for that. But it often points to, like, what is wrong here that gets you to this point where you could have done that in the next couple of days.
Right.
Your big plan could have gone into action in the next couple of days. And the only thing that thwarted all of this, the Scooby-Doo crack team, that meddling kids, is you randomly in a suburban area start discharging a short rifle.
Right.
60 rounds. Where was your brain? Not that I'm trying to give pointers for how to make it to your mass casualty event, but really? Where did you not think that part through? That for the next year, and maybe a little change, in addition to everything on my shopping list that I have to buy, and everything else that I have to do, I also need to act like a normal human being that doesn't have any need for criminal intervention.
Right.
Like, no law enforcement intervention needed here.
Right.
Like, I'm just a normal dude doing normal doodly dude stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I am not the mass shooter you are looking for. You know what I mean? Like, where
I
was
get that.
the plan?
Right. Well, I get that. But then I also have to wonder about other things.
Okay.
I can't send you to buy mulch. How did he buy guns?
Oh no, that's a little easier. He had a penis, and he was in a penis preferred environment. Like, if he sent his girlfriend to go buy, I'm assuming a lot here, but if he sent his girlfriend or his mom or some woman to the gun store to buy the thing, I'm pretty sure there would have been at least a phone call. Are you sure that's what you want, that he told you to get?
Uh-huh.
Are you sure that's what your husband, son, brother wants? Would have probably been the interaction. Like, hate to say it, it's not how it should be, but it is what it is. He had a penis. He was buying a penis-approved item.
That's just crazy. There's so many levels of insane craziness and gender normativity there that it's unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we did get some good news while we were gone.
Oh, we're moving over to former police chief?
Yes.
All right. So a former police chief sentenced for sex trafficking involving a 17-year-old girl. So a former police chief was sentenced Thursday to 25 years in prison for sex trafficking charges involving a 17-year-old girl in Fayette County, West Virginia, the U.S. Department of Justice said. Larry Allen Clay Jr., 58, of Fayetteville, also was sentenced to 10 years of supervised release following his prison sentence and to pay $80,000 in restitution. Clay also must register as a sex offender. Investigators say Clay obstructed the investigation into his offenses involving the teenage victim. They said he paid a woman $100 to have sexual relations with a family member 2 separate times in June 2020. According to the U.S. Department of Justice release, one incident happened on a rural road in Fayette County, and the other happened inside the former Golly Bridge High School in a basement office reserved for the Golly Bridge Police Department. At that time, Clay was the Golly Bridge Police Department chief and a deputy with the Fayette County Sheriff's Department. Investigators say he was wearing his police uniform, badge, duty belt, and service firearm at the time of the offenses. Investigators say Clay tried to persuade the girl's relative to lie to law enforcement about what happened, as well as asked a law enforcement officer if his criminal conduct could be covered up. Clay was convicted in April 2023 after a 4-day jury trial of conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking of a minor via coercion, sex trafficking of a minor via coercion, and 2 counts of obstruction of justice. The woman was sentenced the woman was sentenced last year to 9 years in prison after pleading guilty to conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking of a minor under the age of 18. So, yeah, he has finally been sentenced and sent to prison.
Finally.
Yeah.
Like this case, I was questioning if it was ever going to get done.
All right. So he is 58 now plus 25 years. He would be, let's see, 70, 83. And then he has 10 years of supervised release.
Right.
So most likely, and then he is, of course, to register as a sex offender. So effectively, the first real freedom he could possibly have
is in 21 and a half years.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying that with the 10 years plus the, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the 25 plus the 10, because I don't think he's getting let out early for anything.
No, and I'm surprised that, the Board of Education isn't being sued here.
Okay, how so?
Because they allowed this to occur on their grounds.
Again, define how they allowed this to occur. Because, one, this was the former school. Because had that not already switched out?
No.
In 2020. So that was the actual current school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you would call it allowed, though. Like, they allowed the police department to have a room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I'm just, like, this case is very messed up in so many levels that it's ridiculous.
I mean, like, the abuse of badge, abuse of authority, abuse of, like, you just keep going down that list, involved here,
Mm-hmm.
I think kind of precludes charging the school.
We'll see
You
where
see
all
what
of
I'm
it.
saying? Like, nowhere was this the intent of the school ever.
Right. It wasn't the intent of the school, but the power they gave this man was ridiculous in this state. I mean, well, one in this state, but also in this city.
But about par for the course.
True.
Like, one, as a law enforcement officer, the natural belief is this is your law and order.
Mm-hmm.
You're not theoretically not going to be, and then,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like,
I get it. I see where
how do
you're at.
you? Yeah, I meant, how do
Okay.
you want the school system to police the police department?
I don't want them to police them, but I want them to take
Okay.
notice of, like, why are they, like, allowing a 17-year-old to go with a police officer without a parental guardian?
But there was a parental guardian. That's who was sex trafficking her.
I know, which is even worse.
That's what I'm saying, is how do you look at this as a third party?
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the school system's going to be, is the third party to the situation.
Right.
How do you look at this and go, well, I think that's weird? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you have a 17-year-old alone,
right,
with a police officer, that might raise an eyebrow.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, law enforcement duties, 17-year-olds commit crimes. I don't know what this is about.
Right.
Does it concern me? Or is he just doing his job? I think most people would go, he's probably just doing his job.
Right.
And keep moving. But then there's the added layer of, but there's her parent.
Mm-hmm.
Who clearly knows what's going on.
Right.
Like, she is not upset. She is not screaming. She is not yelling. She is not, you know what I mean? This parent is not standing there going, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. You're not dating.
Right. Like, again, I thought they would have been better.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think all of this was happening outside of school hours.
Right.
Like, that's the and one more part of it. So you're already out. Like, this isn't like, 11 a.m. on a Monday.
Right.
Hey, let's come down to the school with your daughter. Here's $100.
Right.
I'm going to take your daughter to this classroom, whatever space inside the school, and I'm going to violate her. But even at that, how often is that most likely what comes out of a 17-year-old's mouth? Like, I'm trying to say this very carefully. If you are a 17-year-old girl and you have done something wrong, I would assume you're not going to go quietly and willingly,
right,
with a police officer without screaming everything you've been taught to scream to draw attention to yourself to get help and protection.
Right.
rape, he's hurting me. You know, you're gonna be screaming all the things. In a stole a chapstick is the ultimate, you know, outcome.
Right.
Like I am sure that is a common daily occurrence that if you are arresting a minor, especially a minor woman,
Right.
that she is not putting up every single possible resistance to getting arrested that she's been taught.
Right.
To avoid being abducted, to draw attention to herself, to make sure that to try, you know, to connect with a woman, to get their attention involved. And that's just over like stealing a chapstick.
Right. Again, this case is just horrifying.
It is.
Yeah. On so many levels. And only 9 years in prison? Nah, you need to get more, Kristen. Many more.
Well, I mean, it is very sad that the most we can that this legal system found they could do. Let's put it that way. Is, you know, 25 years in prison. That would probably be appropriate for someone who didn't have a badge. But honestly, at 58 years old, I don't know that 25 years isn't a life sentence.
Right, that's him. I'm talking about the mother.
Yeah. Well, but so, and then on the mother's side, the stepmother, I think, of the girl was 10 years.
9
years, excuse me. And she'll probably do 4.5.
Right.
Because she's got that hard luck story of, well, we were just so poor. Which, true, I'm sure.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the sad reality. The fucked up sad reality.
Right. Even worse. All right, let's get into Are You the Asshole?
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So now Brenda says in school, a few went because they were holding a nickel bag when the officer approached. Didn't make a scene because you don't want your parents to find out or to go to jail. Fair enough. Right. No. I'm sure of that as well. But I'm just saying that in terms of it, for just a common chapstick arrest, I am sure there are also many young women who would scream everything under the sun, make every accusation under the sun, trying to get out of it for the sheer moment of more trouble than she is worth. I'm getting called a rapist over here. One of these damn dads is going to come up and kill me. And that's just trying to haul some kid out of a store who just stole a chapstick.
Right.
I'm just going, it makes it hard as a third party to look at any situation and go, what really is going on here? I'm just going to trust the guy with the gun and the badge and the big uniform to maybe know what the hell he's doing, and that this kid is just doing everything they can to get out of it.
Right.
Like tell me how I'm supposed to interact with that. That's so, no, I'm not trying to necessarily assume, and I do understand it works the other way as well. I'm just going, that's the problem as a third party, that even if this were 11 o'clock on a Monday, school's in session, And for whatever reason, Officer Clay is now dragging this 17-year-old girl to the police room at the school, and she could have been screaming bloody murder. What do you do as a third party? Because you're sitting here going, like this is that there is liability on the school side. I'm going, for what? What do you look at and go, how do you look at that situation? Even if she's screaming bloody murder and everything that's about to happen to her and everything that's gone on to make this possible, and choose to intervene. Like, what would have to occur for you to intervene? Like, as a school secretary, as a teacher, as anyone in this situation, to not just think that, like, this respected officer of whom we have no other problem with is doing anything inappropriate. Then just he's doing his job. And what am I supposed to look at in a situation where she's yelling and screaming?
Right.
And really do, like, who do you call?
Right.
Do you call 911? And then what? You send someone to go, like, with him? Like, and again, that would be if it's just were the middle of a Monday, 11 a.m.
Right.
I again, this is the law enforcement problem, and why I think 25 years is a ridiculously low sentence, and 80,000 in restitution equally ridiculous, because our understanding of law enforcement, and at least of someone in custody, is that you trust the officer is doing their job to the best of their abilities.
Right.
And that the person that is currently in custody is literally just trying to do anything to get out of this.
Right.
Like, whether that is remain silent, don't move, don't, breathe wrong, don't yes sir, no sir, whatever you have to do, or going the other route, which is yell, scream, create a fuss, look like a total, like, nightmare, that like, get away from me, like, I don't even care, like, I don't want to be called a rapist, I don't want to be called this, I don't want to be called that. You know what I mean? In hopes that you can hit a trigger that they're like, okay, but, like, fine, not even worth the paperwork, not worth it, not, just don't do that again, I hope. Or do it again, I don't know, let someone else deal with it. Like, that was the argument I'm making, is that even if it were 11 o'clock in the middle of a school day, how would you tell the difference between legitimately this girl is being child trafficked and she is being sold for sex right now on a school campus in a police room by a police officer in uniform?
Yes.
And some kid just stole the chapstick and is trying anything to yell and scream her way out of this so she doesn't get arrested and her parents don't get called.
I know. It's unlawful case. I know.
Yeah. And that's why I think the sentence is horrible, one. And two, the restitution is ridiculous. I hope there is a civil case in this and you bankrupt.
Yeah.
Bankrupt. This police department. I'm sorry, that's what's deserved.
No, go for it. Bankrupt them all.
I mean, how do you, as this girl, have any trust for the people that are supposed to be protecting you? What happens in the future when something bad happens and she's supposed to call 911? Do you think she's going to call 911? Fuck no.
Well, even worse, honey. Drive down 19 right now. I'll guarantee you there's 2 police cars sitting out there. She's going to panic attack every time she drives past them.
Oh, yeah. God forbid she gets pulled over for something legitimate, like a tag light out.
Yeah.
How is an officer supposed to, one, even begin to assess that situation?
Right.
Like, I hope to God there is a flag on her everything.
Right.
Her license, her tags, her car, that big bold letters approach with caution. This is not going to go well.
Right.
Like, this is going to be someone who is going to flip the absolute fuck out. Call mental health, call everyone you need.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a single white male pulls you over in the middle of the night situation.
Right.
Because she's going to flip.
Mm-hmm.
Again, and this is going to be for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
The people that she should have been able to trust and run to,
Mm-hmm.
because the other people that she's supposed to be able to trust, everyone violated her trust.
Right.
How do you just, oh, here's $80,000? I'm sure that's going to make up.
That barely, I've sat here and calculated, based on West Virginia, I hope this girl got given a ticket and a sum of money from the Victims Association to get the hell out of West Virginia. Girl, don't look back. You know, you're what, 19, 21 right now? Please don't look back.
Even then.
Mm-hmm.
You, like, the hope of having a normal life. $80,000 might cover the amount of money necessary for trauma counseling, for the sex, for the rape that occurred. The rest of it?
Mm-hmm.
How do you begin?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, that sounds like you basically hole up at the top of a mountain, right, so to speak. The going with like a movie moment, but Sidney Prescott from Scream,
right?
You know what I mean? You work a remote job, and you just don't go out.
Right.
Other people, someone somewhere that you deem trustworthy,
right,
delivers stuff to you. You watch movies and television and, surf the internet and work from home at the top of a very nice enclosed property.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have a very shoot first, ask questions later mentality.
Right.
Because everyone you should have been able to have previously trusted violated that. So that's like, that's why I have such a problem with this crime. Is that even if it were the middle of the day, a school day, children are present, teachers are present, administration is present, and she is yelling and screaming at the top of her lungs about it.
Right.
As a third-party bystander, you're going to assume that officer is just doing his job.
Right.
That, I don't know what's wrong with crazy girl.
Right.
And that's unfortunate, but it is reality. And that's what makes the crime so much worse.
Right.
Is because what do you think what do you think the victim in the situation, the person that is potentially under arrest, you don't know.
Right.
What do you think this person can say?
Right.
That's going to actually connect with a bystander for any kind of help.
Right.
And that's if you don't immediately process, like, even if you believe them and don't immediately process, who do you call? 911? Hey, your buddy's down here doing this?
Yeah, your buddy's at my graduation party.
What do you say? What do you expect those people to do? Maybe drive over and be like, hey, dude, don't do that.
Right.
Like, that's it. That's the best you can hope for.
Right.
Or they retaliate against you, and now you're getting pulled over every 15 minutes, and you get to find out. Because you effed around with the police department. Again, what kind of, how do, that's the heinousness of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's my whole point, is even screaming bloody murder.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
No.
Wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
Who gets involved? If you do get involved, what does that mean for you? Do you stop and go, oh, I don't know that I can take this? Like, what is happening to you, I believe is happening to you. It is a horrible, horrible event. I don't know where to start to fix that.
Right. And here's
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to send you something because I pulled up back articles. This is a bigger issue that hasn't even been addressed.
Okay, prior to the encounter, Chief Clay showed the other law enforcement officers, or the other law enforcement officer, naked pictures of plaintiff, the lawsuit alleges. It says the other officer, who is yet to be identified, backed out when he learned the victim was only 17. I think they did later identify.
Yeah.
And I think that was the officer that he eventually then tried to get to cover everything up, who realized he was fucked, no matter what he did. Like, there was no way he was going to cover this up and it stay covered up. There was no way that he wasn't going to get in trouble for everything he was doing. So the only thing he could do was go in, turn himself in, and be like, and by the way, this is going on. Can you help me?
Right.
Because I'm fucked. And again, that's the best thing that could come out of this, is that the officer he approached still had a shred of decency left to know that what he was about to do was too much.
Right.
Because I think this is the officer that was already like doing some interesting things with adults to get out of tickets or arrest or whatever, or special favors or whatever on his own was what he was doing. So yeah, it's a whole corrupt police force. And that's what I'm saying, is effectively you're going to pick up the phone if you see her yelling, screaming, crying, and you believe her. You're going to pick up the phone, dial 911 and say, hey, your buddy's down here like raping a 17-year-old.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the best I can hope for is you're going to come down here, tap him on the shoulder, and be like, not today. We're getting phone calls.
Yeah. I mean, this is the insanity that's going down in small towns. Now, I will give it to the mayor. The mayor is like, oh, no, I ain't backing your ass, ain't packing your ass, don't care who you are. Come on in. Here's your affidavit. Go in there and get whatever you want. I will give that to the mayor down there. He didn't play games.
There were parts of that I was like, there were some games there. Like, there was a hope to get this the ball out of his court as quickly as possible.
Right. So he was signing over anything and everything he could.
Yeah. Like, I want out. I don't want this.
Right.
We're not going to support you. No, we're not trying to cover this up. Think you have a great day. Not happening. Right. I can't weather this. But it was also very much of whatever I can do to get you out of here today.
Right.
Like, here's your retirement. Bye.
Right.
Bye. Like, but then didn't turn around, or did not immediately turn around and go after his law enforcement certificate.
Right.
So he was free to go to another police department and do it all again. At least until this became, thankfully, this made it through.
Right.
Thankfully, there was enough evidence. Otherwise, it was going to be like a priest rape case in which he just got passed off to another fucking police department.
Right.
Move 5 miles and do it again. Move another 5 miles and do it again. And again, and again, and again.
Right.
Like, the best thing that happened is his buddy was so compromised himself, but still had that last shred of dignity, of decency, to be like, I can't do this. Like, I'm not calling this dude a hero.
Right.
I'm saying that shred is literally the fiber that kept this all possible.
Right.
That he gets convicted.
Right. All right, let's get to why you're the asshole.
Alrighty, will do. Sorry.
No, you're fine, honey. In these cases, piss me off. It's just I'm getting messages for other things.
Okay, so am I the asshole for snapping at my mom for telling people I'm gay? My 20 male sister, 14, was reading a book yesterday when she asked me, what does a Greek god look like? I asked her why she was asking me that, and she showed me a passage saying a guy has the features of a Greek god. So I told her, muscular and handsome. I noticed my mom giving me a weird look and asked her if something's wrong. She said nothing. Later asked me if I like my best friend, 20 male, because he's tall and muscular. I was taken aback. As it turns out, she had always assumed he and I are gay, which is not the case. I quickly told her we're not gays, but she didn't believe me, saying the way we behave around each other leaves no other possible interpretation. So I told her she should stop trying to interpret and see things that are not there. She said okay before telling me she told her friends that I'm gay, but haven't come out to her yet, and that she was worried about me keeping it bottled up inside. I snapped at her for it. I have nothing against gays, but I don't want them to think I'm one when I'm not, since it'll only lead to awkwardness. Not to mention, one of them has a daughter I have a crush on and might ask out. She said she only told them because she was worried about me and wanted some advice on what to do. Oh, dude. I'm going to go with not the asshole. I understand why you snapped at your mom. I think that... Do I think it was the right thing to do? Not necessarily, but do I think it's fully understandable why you did it? Oh, yeah. Oh, that is a mess. I think the biggest takeaway really isn't for OP as much as it is for the mom, is that while it is great, you want to be supportive of your children no matter what their attraction, wherever their attraction may lie, and whatever their identities may be. I think this is a mom who switched the other direction, and I think wanted a gay son.
Yeah.
And it's like, I on a level feel bad for her.
There are many of us out here that would love to have a great involved mother. There are many of us out here that could use one of this age set.
Yeah. Like, go adopt some gays. You'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, there are many rejected gay kids that would love you. I just feel so bad that you wanted one and thought your son was, and then you just went with it.
Right.
Like, oh, that blew up in your face so bad.
Right.
I mean, because you've now already told people, like, he's gay, he hasn't come out, but he's gay. A mother knows.
Right.
And now it's like, no, Mama didn't know. No, Mama was wrong.
Mama, your radar off so bad it ain't funny. Of course, we're still early in the game here.
I mean, OP, my advice to you is go hug your mother and thank her for being supportive, despite being so wrong.
So wrong.
And then I don't know, maybe try to connect her up. Is that a function of PFLAG? Can supportive parents that don't have gay kids show up and be like, I wanted a gay son so bad.
Right. Like
I effed up.
Yes, but no, PFLAG will do that.
You're a gay-friendly mom. I am here for you.
Yes. Like, we'll go makeup shopping and everything.
Aww. This is heartwarmingly, like, aww.
Yeah.
Like, because this is like when someone wants a straight child and their child comes out and they, like, flip their shit. This is the mirror version of that. This is like the through the looking glass of that. This is the opposite, where it's like, Mom is so supportive. So wrong, but so supportive.
Right. But isn't it nice to get this story instead of the reverse?
Yes. So I'm going to go with not the asshole, but please go hug your mother.
I'm going to say not the asshole. Please go hug your mother and then find out when her local PFLAG chapter meets and take her there and drop her off for playtime.
Yes. Let her go play with the gays and lesbians.
Yes.
Like, she will make some very hurt people very happy.
Yes.
I want to hug that mom.
Yeah.
I do. I want to hug that mom. All right. So, mom, not your business until he comes out to you or has to be fixed up with your friend's son. You know, but there is a reality there of if you have that, like, if you're supportive and you have the suspicion, do you get to talk to your friends about it? And that's a struggle.
I think we have to gauge the friends. Okay, like if it is the wine at 5 p.m. crowd, maybe. If it is the wine in the Stanley Cup at the football field, helping you pick out your future son-in-law, yes.
Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Ask gay bros over 30. Why did you choose him? Why did you choose your partner or spouse? What about him is or was different from those you dated before him? What is one thing about him you may not have cared for in the beginning of your relationship that you have now grown to love? What advice would you give those dating multiple people at once in making the right choice in committing or marrying? Well, the end is thank you to all who share their life experiences. I read everyone's post stories and advice. It is appreciated, and I truly believe dialogues like this help us all grow. Okay. Take it away.
No, why me?
No. You bring it in. Take it away.
Well, the reason I chose this one was he actually got half my brain. You got the computer science. I can go out and, I need a new soundboard to do such and such, and he can get it done.
When he says he hires for partners, he's really not kidding.
Well, not only that, but like you had an investment in my career very early on in our relationship.
Well, I think what you're trying to say is that I wasn't dismissive.
Right.
Like, which I think you had gone through a small amount of that.
Right.
In which it's like, oh, you're a psychic. Okay.
No, I'd gone through the other side of that looking glass.
Okay, which is
thought you didn't have to do any work in the relationship, thought that I could just read their minds, thought that like X, Y, and Z occurred automatically. thought that I was the next Sylvia Brown, so I would be taking care of them in this luxury world. And it's like, no, it's not that way.
Oh, yeah. The ones that are like, oh, okay, cool. Moneymaker, celebrity around the corner. Awesome, cool. I'm on the ground floor. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, KKK. So, yeah, I thought it was more taking you seriously. For you, it was less about taking you seriously, more to do with, but not trying to take you for a ride as a meal ticket.
Right.
Okay. KKK.
Yeah. Like there's a certain meal ticket that comes along, but at the same time, I'm not your full ride.
Right. Yeah, Aeson dates instead of hiring.
No, Aeson finds ones that go good with his life.
You date instead of hiring.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, your polyamory is just because you're too cheap to offer benefits.
Okay, then you have to explain some other ones off air.
No, salary and benefits, you're sitting there going, could I hire for this position? Sure. But then I have to pay salary and benefits. Yeah. Or I could date.
Uh-huh. If so, I really would need some applicants from some voice over IP administrators and designers. I could probably use a few more limo drivers and damn housekeepers.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not far off from what you have literally said about what you expect out of a next partner that moves in, which is you legitimately want a houseboy. You have flat said you want you have said it on air. Don't even argue with me. You have
First of all, I need more than a houseboy.
Uh-huh.
He must have his driver's license because I'm tired of driving.
Yes, so you want a houseboy chauffeur?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Additionally, preferably gluten-free, so that there's at least two of us in the house that understands that no, that's not a good bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
Share your gluten-free experience with your houseboy chauffeur. Got it.
Yes.
But you see what I'm saying? This is what Brenda was picking up on.
I'm popping this up.
Yeah, please send your resumes to Aeson's business email. I have long described and done it on air. We have talked about this.
Yes.
Some days it is really hard to tell the difference between I am being sexually harassed at work and I am trying to work while being
showing affection
with my husband in the room.
Yeah.
There's some days I don't know whether to slap you and then slap you with a sexual harassment lawsuit.
As I laugh at you.
Inappropriate work behavior. Or if I need to slap you as my husband and go, I am working.
Again, both will work, you know. But no, night owls preferred, video editing skills preferred, at least a good level of Second Life understanding, and possibly, some fever dream inspiration. Good level of AI music mixing skills required.
You've really been grooming the kid.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. If you're watching.
You got to send a Zoom link as soon as this show went up.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying please realize.
Uh-huh.
No. Dating you is not like an independent thing from being hired to work for your business. They are mutually inclusive. They are.
Looking at resources is very important to me. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, there is that. I think I am the one that's going to have the most trouble with this question. Because I don't know the answer. Because honestly, I was fighting it tooth and nail because after my last ex, and this really isn't an indictment of them specifically,
Mm-hmm.
like my total dating history is just the last ex was the last straw.
Mm-hmm.
I had gotten real comfortable with the idea of I'm just not ever doing this again. Like, I'm not dating. I'm not interested in relationships. I am not cut out for this. Like, dating is not for me. So I will say that I think the fact that, like, you weren't needy.
No.
I mean, I know Brenda's about to get admitted to the hospital because she's stopped breathing. Like you've met Aeson, he's needy. Like this is not unclear. He is a violet, an underwater violet in the Arizona sun.
Orchid.
Yeah, you're an orchid. It's not, but that's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
What the Okay, so let's just go through the list real quick. Needy in the sense of expected us to get married and I will become the sole provider and keep them in the lifestyle to which they wish to become accustomed.
No, you pulled that one. I laughed at you.
Yeah, looking for a sugar daddy. Oh, no, I got to back up. Was looking for a full-time stay-at-home spouse to support them 24/7. Was looking for a sugar daddy.
Mm-hmm. Don't need either one of those.
Do what now?
I said I don't need either one of those.
No, I'm talking about my exes.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see. Was looking for a full-time sugar daddy. Was basically looking for a relationship for sex because could not reconcile the idea of being sexual outside of a relationship because that violated their understanding of the appropriateness of sex. But instead of reevaluating their ideas of promiscuity, they just decided to become a serial dater.
Mm-hmm.
That one gets a little complex, but it wasn't a relationship is ultimately where I ended up, is that there was no basis for a relationship. That was an awkward breakup. Also a weird friendship. All happened within like a week. It was wild. And then we finally get to the last one. And it was the dawning realization, I'm not even sure you qualify as an adult. Like, was older than me. But I'm not sure you qualify as a full-grown adult.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you do, none of the choices or things in your life are ever going to get us to a point
Mm-hmm.
where there's any kind of equality in this relationship. It's just basically going to be, I'm going to support you,
Mm-hmm.
take care of you, and you have nothing mutually to offer ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're fun.
Right. And I've dated all of those.
And that's but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And after those exes, I'm just was kind of at a point of like, if this is what my options are, I'm out. Like, I don't want to do this.
Right.
Like, I'm done with doing this. Now, granted, bipolar played a major role in multiples. Because I don't know, there's a forehead stamp that says like bipolar, please inquire. Stamped on my forehead.
I swear we covered that with roses. But anyhow, can we go back to the 5 so I can address each one of those?
Take it away.
Well, you go back to the 5. I think the first one was to be a sole provider, and
be the sole provider. I just want a double wide with a room for my mama and like 9 kids.
Yeah, no, I will make my own income until the day I die. Fuck you.
Well, it was more so, it was like, this is the everything you want out of life. Is a double wide with a room for my mama. Oh, okay. I like, that's not my life plan. This is gonna work.
Yeah. Well,
like,
living with Mama Night doesn't work. We tried that.
Yeah. Well, but I'm saying, you like, there's no connection between the two of y'all. All right, and then we get into the I just want you to become my stay-at-home housewife and support me in my career. Also, side note, career was not going well.
Well, fuck off on that. You got shit to do, and I need time alone. Go solve a client's problem.
Yeah, the final killer for it all was I needed to drop out of college to become that. And I know it's your dream to own a Mercedes, so I will buy you one. And it's like, okay, back up. When I said my dream was to own a Mercedes, did you forget the part where I said, with a vanity plate that reads earned it, because I wasn't going to finance that Mercedes. I wanted to have a career that supported me financially, being able to go write a fucking check for whatever Mercedes I wanted. With whatever options I want. Not going to haggle. Not going to argue. Not going to debate. Tell me how much. Here's a check.
Okay, this is why he doesn't have a checkbook.
No. I mean, the money is legitimately there for the car.
I know, but if you ain't haggling a car deal, especially with a Mercedes buyer, we got an issue.
Again, you're missing the point a little bit, is that I wanted to have enough money that it didn't matter.
Right.
And I wanted to earn every dime it took to buy that Mercedes without giving a fuck what it cost. Money is no material object in buying this car. No. And then getting a vanity plate that says earned it.
Right.
Didn't get handed it. Mommy and daddy didn't buy me this. I didn't finance it.
Right.
I own it because I earned it. That was the goal. But somehow taking that and twisting it into, you can be bought for the cost of a monthly payment or a monthly lease payment on a Mercedes of my choosing.
Right.
No, sweetheart. And that was the point I had to make to him was, 1, that's not what I said. And 2, you've lost your goddamn mind.
Right.
If you think I'm going to drop out of college for this relationship.
Right.
That was the whole point there. So, okay, that's 2 down.
Yeah, and I'm like, I love it when you do any type of housework. But you got to go have your own identity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can be Mr. Knight most of the time, but no, you got to go have your own identity.
Yeah. Like, I will show up and play the role.
Mm-hmm.
And I do well. Like, I understand, so to speak, I understand what is expected of me socially.
Yes.
And I will go do that. Like, and, you know, if it is his event and it is his thing, then yes, I am Mr. Aeson Knight. And I will answer to it. And I will be like, hi. And I will remember that this is your thing. That you are doing. And that I am supporting you in. It's not my thing. It's not about me.
Right. And at the same time, I can flip and be Mr. Arrington anytime you want. And I are most of the times, except to call me Mrs. And I'm like, yes, how can I help you?
You struggle a little bit. Like, you're Aeson Knight regardless of, like, where you are.
I know.
Like, you have a hard time turning it off. You're just Aeson Knight. Like, usually, like, Aeson Knight goes everywhere.
Right.
He's, you know what I mean? Whether that's in a suitcase or not, Aeson Knight shows up everywhere.
Yeah. But at the same time,
that's fine. I don't have a problem.
No, but your events are your events. But anyway, so that one was an easy knockoff. Let's move on to the other ones.
Okay, wanted a sugar daddy.
No.
Wanted me to, at 22, to be their sugar daddy.
Oh, that's hilarious. But what was even more hilarious was the comment of Avon money.
Okay.
And you got told real fast where that Avon money was going to go.
Well, again, my whole point when making that statement was that what I was looking at doing professionally would have made that most likely an insignificant portion of our income. And so we could have freely lived off of what I was making. Had the life we wanted, do whatever you want, and you can take that money and go do whatever you desire. Like, you want to take trips, you want to get your nails done, you did have nice clothes, you could do that. You could bank it, you could plan for vacation, you do whatever you want to. If I followed that career path and done that instead, because what I was looking at was cybersecurity.
Right, and you can still go do that.
Yeah. Instead, we launched
that.
Yeah. Right. But so anyway, but back to the point that, you know, wanted me to be a sugar daddy.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah. Like, I'm not really.
I've seen your taxes. You don't have enough zeros to be my sugar daddy.
Well, more of the point, at the age I was at, it was like, I am no one's sugar daddy. Right. I don't even have sweet and low daddy potential at 22. Like, I have barely surviving, and, you know.
Right. And when we met, that was even a different era. And it was still like, yeah, you don't have any zeros.
Yeah, well, I don't have enough zeros. Especially not that. But yeah, so sugar daddy, like, that wasn't the goal I had in mind. Yeah. So that one was kind of a quick, like, that's not.
Yeah.
There's no way this is gonna work. Mostly because I don't even have the interest.
Right. But I'm saying that it was I would have laughed at you if you had came at that direction.
Well, but my whole point being, I don't even have an interest in being a sugar daddy. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just not that interested in basically sex work. Yeah, 122. Had he heard of student loans? No. Like, and I gotta point out that this was not a dumb ex of mine. Which I found to be the weirder part. Like, this ex has gone on, got a couple of college degrees. Is very brilliant. Like there was no stupidity here. It was just they wanted to be the sugar baby.
Mm-hmm.
And just someone hand him a fucking credit card
Mm-hmm.
on top of the one they already had from daddy,
Uh-huh.
with fewer limits.
Uh-huh. Well,
And I'm kind of like,
yeah, whatever. Anyhow.
Really not me, buddy. Don't know where you fit. I don't know how that worked in your brain, but like of all your brilliance, that was the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
Really was really intelligent ex of mine. Like really super intelligent dude. I will never trash his intelligence, but that was the dumbest thing.
Uh-huh.
Was this belief you're going to meet a 22-year-old that's
Uh-huh.
going to make you a sugar baby? Okay.
Yeah, cute.
Alrighty. Yeah. He eventually figured that out and I guess upgraded.
Hopefully.
It was awkward.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, and well, I did drop an X out of there because we ain't even going there because that's a total screwed up situation.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we had Sugar Baby, then we had oh, what was the next one?
Wanted you to take total care of them.
No, that's the last one.
Uh-huh.
That I would. It wasn't even so much that they wanted. It was just that was the only way this was ever going to work.
Uh-huh.
Was like I'm not even sure you're an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Then the ex that wanted. Sorry, I always forget that one. He's so sweet. But he because could not figure out the whole like you're dating solely to have sex.
Yeah.
The way I had to phrase it was you're not having sex within a relationship, you're having a relationship for sex.
Mm-hmm.
Which they blew up when we had that argument, and then like a week later it's like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what I'm doing. I am dating people solely for the moniker of dating to justify having sex with them. There's no basis for a relationship. Got it.
Yeah.
So that was annoying, but I still think the world of him. He's a sweetheart. But at the same time, we're so not compatible on so many levels.
Yes. And and for me
great
at that,
friend,
it's like
great friend, horrible partner.
Right. But for me that wasn't an issue. It's like relationship, no relationship. You coming next Wednesday or not?
And then we get to the very last X, which was like ultimately, I'm not even sure you're an adult.
Uh-huh.
But even if you qualify as an adult human being, and I don't mean that by age, he was 7 years older than me, I think. Or something like that, close to it. And just no. That relationship was doomed.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was no matter like he was so life situationally screwed
Mm-hmm.
and had just let go, like wasn't even trying to make any of this better, was working part-time job, losing like 50% of that to an ex-wife.
He was looking for someone to take care of him.
He wasn't even looking for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, he didn't even know what he needed enough to go look for someone to provide it. But the reality was, like, there had never been an ambitious thought. And so it was just this, like, well, I'll just, survive somehow. And like, there's no long-term plan. There was no clue. Like, these kids were not going to college on daddy money, because daddy was cashing $200 paychecks.
Right. Just confirming it's
Every
the
2
one
weeks.
in fat.
Oh. Well, Bluefield, but yes.
Yeah. Okay, that one. Oh, please, honey. He was looking for a daddy.
For other reasons. But no, in terms of a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
I never could figure out, like, this was kind of like being like fast approaching 30
Mm-hmm.
for me. So 35 for them, and just acting like some 17-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're cute, let's date.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no plan for the future. There's no idea what the future is going to be. Just free floating around on $200, like $400 a month.
Right.
And just, I live with my mom, and I guess I'll do that till, like, I don't know, she dies or something. And or someone decides to move me in with them.
Right.
And not really, like, being able to contribute to a relationship. Not that I'm necessarily saying, like, you have to. Like, people are underemployed and unemployed, and that's a thing. But not really wanting to form a plan to get out of that.
Right.
Like, not even trying to form a plan to get out of
Right.
that, to move beyond that, to, like, support the 4 fucking kids you had with your ex.
Right.
Like, come on, man.
Grow up, dude. But anyhow, yeah.
So after those 5, and granted,
Yeah.
I don't count the one that technically we dated for like 48 hours.
True.
I'm not going there. Like, we
Right.
remained friends for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Longer than we should have. But the 48 hours of dating, like, that was a serious problem.
Right. But anyhow, and I come along and it's like, now I own a house, I own 2 businesses. It's great you're here. Bye when you're not.
Yeah. And most importantly, you do not have a completely unmanaged mental health disorder
Uh-huh.
that requires someone else take care of you.
Yeah, nah.
Because unfortunately, unmedicated bipolar is basically that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, I really try to be sensitive to people who are bipolar when I talk about the experience of dating people who are bipolar.
Right.
Nowhere do I think y'all are horrible people. That is not the deal. The ramifications of untreated bipolar disorder are immense, and the only way that works is someone else is basically you when you're not you.
Mm-hmm.
Which about 95% of the time, you're not you.
Mm-hmm.
You're either a very depressed version of you, or you're a very manic version of you. There's only about a 5% window where you're just you.
Right. But but no, and people really do not like my idea of things.
Mm-hmm.
But ride with it for a minute. I don't require a man in my life. I like when they're around. They're not around, that's fine. Someone else will float through. And healthy relationships are like 2 circles that connect,
Mm-hmm.
and they share an area, but not the whole area.
Yeah.
And I really like when, those circles start moving over and on top of each other. Yeah, that's when you'll start seeing Aeson get disinterested quickly.
Yeah. But alrighty. So
Oh.
yeah, I guess that's why I chose him.
Yeah.
Like, I know, but poor Brenda's about to quit breathing at this point. We know Aeson's crazy. We got that. We're clear on that. The whole world is clear.
Right.
But he is not the kind of crazy that requires an entire support staff. He can survive as long as coffee is delivered or someone drops in to regularly make it. Also to set reminder alarms for him. There's a few other things there, but yeah, you're basically right.
Hold up.
Like
Who gets coffee in bed?
If you can remember long enough.
Exactly. You'll get coffee in bed. Like,
I inconsistently get coffee in bed. And here's the thing. I don't need coffee in bed.
I know you don't.
I think it's sweet. I really do.
Yeah.
But I need the morning consistency more. That it's like, I will just get up and get my own damn coffee because that keeps me on track.
I have one statement for you.
What?
We have a glass carafe.
Yes.
Your history has proven you are not safe with those.
I do not have to use that to fill the coffee pot.
Okay. Anyhow, the second part of that, however, is I'm the one setting the reminder alarms that drive him insane.
Yes.
Yes.
With the rule that no one can turn them off but you.
Uh-huh.
He sets reminders for everything.
Yeah. I do. I have everything in timed basis and reminders for everything and planner. And yeah, I'm doing 500 things at once. And that's life. And, you know, a nice crazy tornado.
I think, oh, what is the actress? Olivia de Havilland said it best about Betty Davis.
Oh, okay.
You're a basically benevolent volcano.
Thank you. I'll take that.
Yes.
All right, so the Poland is in, and of course, you know, after careful consideration and debate, and I'm sure there were some contradictory conversations, you are not the asshole this week.
All right. Not the asshole. But hug your mother.
Yes. All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed the show. We are back to regular broadcasting. I will be having someone sit in with me on Monday because Hazel is off for the holidays. So we'll be sitting down with Miss Maria, coming to us from Germany. And we will be having some really good conversations over the next 2 Mondays. So with that, you know, we want to thank them for being very patient for giving us the time off. You really didn't want over dead Aeson. Take it away, darling.
All right. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Brenda, Joan Owen, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Caitlin Bell, Devin, Bella, and Maria Meyer. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yes. All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.